Many times you think you are in love.
True.
I think,
yeah.
like, as a kid, like, I was in love every 10 minutes.
Hi, this is Lauren Engel. Today I'm with George of New Hope Club.
Hello, you okay?
Hi, really
We just
good.
had a conversation. We were attached by like a cord.
It's like a umbilical cord.
We're not allowed that
100
far
feet.
away from each other.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of a restraining order. It's great.
So you're born in Northern England?
Oh no, I'm born in London. The other
Okay.
boys are born in Manchester, which is northern, but I'm like the
Oh.
capital.
Oh, so you're in the city.
I was until I moved out when I was like 5. So I went a little
Oh.
tiny bit further north,
Yeah.
where it's a bit more like countryside.
Oh,
So
what is that part called?
I live in Bedfordshire. If you
Okay.
want to Google it, nothing really happens. My dad was born where I was born, pretty much,
Okay.
in North London, and my mum was born in Essex, I think, which is like west.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna really hate me because I've got that wrong. I know I have. But, no, yeah.
What do they do?
My mum's actually, she's the very first female football coach in England. Like,
Oh, no
that
way.
coaches men's football. So she's smashing it right now. She's like getting loads of interviews on like radio stations.
That's crazy.
and, like,
What's her
TV
name
stuff.
so people can
Her
find
mum,
her?
she's her mum. My mum's called Natasha Orchard-Smith.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
she's killing it. I go to watch like her team play, and when they win, it's great. To be fair, every time I've been, they've never lost.
Yeah.
I think I might be like a good luck charm, to be honest. But, no, it's good. It's good. It's mad that she's like getting like the
Yeah.
recognition because she coached me when I was
Oh,
like a
wow.
kid. So she's gone from coaching like me at like 12 to like full on like adults like in the men's game, which is mad. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
And your dad?
My dad just like a tax man. He sort of like has like a rather normal job, like.
Yeah.
But no, he's lovely. He's great. A great dad.
Where do you think you got your creative side from?
I think I get a bit from both of them. My mum's quite musical. My mum played like piano to like grade 6, which is quite a high grade. But she played like saxophone.
Oh, wow.
And so she played like a few instruments. My dad didn't play any instruments, but he used to write like stories and like poems and stuff.
Oh.
So I think I got more of like the writing stuff from my dad, like in like that sort of way, and then my mum was more like the musical.
Then it was your dad like watching some concerts that you were watching?
Oh yeah, so I remember, we're gonna split up here. So there was this sort of like this girl that I really fancied when I was like 11 or 12, and she basically knew a Beatles song, and I was like, oh my god, I need to go learn it to impress her. So I went home that night and I watched a concert for George Harrison, because he obviously died, and it had like loads of amazing people playing. It had like Eric Clapton, and like it was insane. So I watched this, and they played My Sweet Lord. I remember I was like completely obsessed with it, and me and my dad were like playing for ages, just trying to figure out the chords. We didn't bother googling it, to be honest. We just tried to listen to it and do it, which we didn't actually get it in the end. But I remember the next day I went into school, had my first ever guitar lesson, and I learned Day Tripper. The Beatles riff.
Yeah.
So I brought it home and I was playing that for like 3 weeks solid. My dad must have been going crazy, being like, play something else. And then I started singing like a couple of years later, posting stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I met the boys through YouTube. Like I did loads of gigs, to be fair, in Bedfordshire and around that area. Just like me with like a microphone and about one person sat there. My parents were in the corner. But it was good. It was good fun. It was all an experience. So like, I mean, it all leads to where you are now, and it was without that I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So it's mad.
Did you know people around you when you're growing up who were musicians or able to do music as a career? Like, where do you think you got this like drive from to realize that you could make it like your career?
So I used to do like loads of pub gigs, and the people basically that hosted it and like went all the time, that was basically their job was music, to like play live music. And I knew from going to them, I started when I was like 13, and I was about this tall, and everyone else was like tall, they were all drunk, like old men, but they were all playing guitar. And even at that age I was like, all I want to do is just play like live music. So I think I fell in love with it like that way. And then I mean I just kept going and going at it. I mean, if you just keep practicing and be confident and put yourself out there, then like, I mean, who's to say like what can happen? Like anything can happen. So, I mean, I just kept doing that for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I got lucky and I'm here now, which is insane.
Yeah.
But I think like listening to live music and going to watch a gig, it's just you can't compare it.
Yeah.
It's just so much better than anything else.
What did your parents think of you wanting to do music as a career? Were they ever like skeptical or?
No, actually, they basically when I was really young, they used to drive me around because I can't drive. I still can't, which is terrible. I'm like 20 now. But so yeah, they used to drive me to every gig. My dad used to be my roadie. Used to carry all my guitars and set up all
like
the
a
stuff.
tour manager.
Basically. But my mum was more of the manager. My mum would like book all the gigs for me.
Wow,
like,
so it was
weekends.
like a family business.
Yeah, it was great. It was really funny. But we did that, and it was good fun. But yeah, it was great. But they were definitely very supportive. They're still supportive now. They come to as many shows as they can.
Yeah.
Like, they came. We just did a Headline Europe tour, and they came to Denmark to see us in the first gig of that tour. But she came. Well, my parents came to like Italy before. And they come to a lot of the UK shows. I'm trying to get them out to America, to be honest.
Oh, that'd
I'm
be
like,
awesome.
Come on. My mum's like, I'm working, I can't. I'm like, just Skype it,
She's
you'll
too
be
busy
fine.
being on TV in the UK.
Yeah. No, she'll be alright. She'll come one day. I'll get her out.
How do you describe your personality back then growing up?
I was sort of like, I was quite shy. I still think I am quite shy. I mean, I don't know, I don't really like being the centre of attention. I don't really like that very much. So this is like not very good for me right now. I hate like one-on-one stuff. I don't know what to do. I'd say I'm like sort of easygoing. I try not to stress too much. But like, I mean, I do stress. I mean, everyone does. But no, I just sort of like take things as they come. And like, if you need to do something, I tend to get it done like on time. Or I'm always like on time with stuff, which is
that's really good.
I suppose that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like where they actually film like TV shows.
Oh wow.
So I think, you know, Blackfish?
Yeah.
I think that was filmed like
that's so cool.
around here because there's like massive posters up.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Were you into school? Did you like school?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed certain subjects. Surprisingly, I didn't actually like music. I didn't really like my teacher. But I liked history a lot. I fell in love with history. I just find it fascinating that like what's happened, and you can like learn all like the in detail stuff. Like sounds weird, but I like all like the war, like the history of like the World War and stuff like that. But so that's what my YouTube. It sounds really nerdy, but that's like my YouTube like history is like. I don't know. I just quite enjoy it.
Yeah. And you're also into gardening.
Yeah, I mean, at school, I used to get bored, and I used to sort of like dig up weeds with like my shoe. Like, you know when you like kick, it's just a bit weird. But I'm just a bit weird in general. But no, I sort of like, I find like things like that like therapeutic, I suppose. I'm quite like satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, when something's really satisfying, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's great.
Yeah, gardening club.
Gardening club, new gardening club. You can check me out. Hit me up on this number. Yeah.
And how did you find the manager early on?
So as I said, I was posting stuff on YouTube.
Oh,
I was
so
writing songs as well.
Yeah.
And he reached out to me on Facebook because I think he saw one of my videos. Well, he must have seen one of my videos. And he was like, yeah, we're interested in like what you're doing. Let me know, we'll come meet you. So I went to meet him. And then this whole like thing started snowballing. And I'm here in LA right now.
Yeah.
In like the most amazing weather ever. I've been like at the hotel, I've been like tanning. Like, because we've got a pool on the rooftop and there's a tennis court as well. I've just been like at the pool like every morning, like 2 hours. I fell asleep the other day in the sun.
Oh,
so like my whole front of my
but yeah, I can see your hands are like burnt.
They're really
kind
red, yeah. But the whole of my body at the front was like, it's quite tan. And then my back was just so pale because I fell asleep.
Yeah.
So I've managed to like even it out a little bit more now. I've got my back a bit more burnt, which is good.
Can you describe the first times that you were sitting together with the two other boys, like doing your first songs?
Yeah. So the first time we met Reece, we all met him at the train station. He came back to my house and we spent like, I think it was the weekend, it was like 2 days, and we was all together. That was the first time. I remember the first night we was all meant to sleep in my room, and like, because we had like a spare bed, and me and Blake would share, and it'd be alright, but we decided to like just bin that off. So we got all the duvets and the pillows down, and we actually got the the actual mattress.
Yeah.
Like we threw it down my stairs. I've got a video of Reece like led on the mattress, like sliding him down the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
So that was quite fun. But we all slept in my living room. We played FIFA. We watched Superbad, the film. If you've seen that film, it's funny. We still watch it all the time. It's a great film. We basically sat around for hours. It took so long to write this song. And we listened to it back and was like, oh my god, it's awful. It's terrible. It's so bad. But luckily, the song after that we wrote was Perfume. We wrote that over Skype.
Oh wow.
So like the first trip was just like sort of about like the first time we met was all about like bonding and like getting to know each other, and we got on really well, which is great. I mean, from the start, if you get on with someone like that, then like that there's got to be something sort of special with it. So
yeah.
I mean, we're lucky that we found each other like so like randomly.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. So we did that, and then we wrote Perfume over Skype. One of the first songs we wrote.
How long after were you like in studios, like, or was that already working in studios, like, with other like engineers or producers?
No, to be honest, like for the first like year, so we was together like probably about 5 months before we actually released our first cover. But we sort of was just like at each other's houses, just like writing songs, just having like a laugh. Because I mean, we were still like young. We was like 15.
Yeah.
Like 15, I think Blake was 14 or something. So like we was all like still at school. I mean, Blake was still at school, and he was doing his GCSEs, which is like the big exams.
I did GCSEs.
GCSEs. So he was still at school, so we'd meet up at weekends and just like chill, write songs. We got writing better and better songs, and then we started deciding that we wanted to do covers. And basically our manager manages the Vamps, and we did a Vamps cover, the first song we ever covered. And then those boys took us on the tour like the following year. So that was our first ever live shows, and our first ever show was to like 15,000 people or something like that.
That's so crazy.
Which is insane. Like we'd just come from playing at like pubs and stuff, where there was like one drunk old man in the back with a dog, to like then going to like an arena of like, it was just so big. Like I remember the feeling before. I was just so nervous. Like I just remember looking out and I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. But I managed to like suck it up, did it, and never really looked back. Like keep just every show you just give it everything you've got, and it's the best feeling ever. Like I can't literally compare it to anything ever. Like I mean, now we're starting to do our actual own shows. I mean, they were support shows, which obviously are incredible. Like, it's an amazing learning experience. But playing your own show and headlining is a completely different, like, a different kettle of fish. Like, because everyone's there to see you, so you feel like there's less pressure. But I mean, there's just as much, if not more, because you feel like you've got to put on an even bigger show. But I mean, our fans are like incredible. They're so supportive, like online and like in person. They're so dedicated and lovely. So it's nice to see them all in front of us at gigs, and then being able to hear them sing back our songs like we've written on Skype or wherever, like, is insane. So yeah.
And Ed Sheeran's a huge person that you look up to, right?
Yeah, Ed Sheeran. I've seen him like, I think I've seen him like 5 times. I've actually seen him in LA. We went to see him at the Staples Center, like when he just released his new the Divide album. It was really good, and because I was like that obsessed with him, I bought the little acoustic guitar that he has, and I was so tempted to like doodle it, like you know what he has, like when he names it and stuff. I didn't do that, but I bought a looper as well. So when I used to do pub gigs, I used to like do the percussion thing that he does, and like the guitar, all the lead stuff. So I mean, yeah, definitely a huge inspiration, and his songwriting is just next level. He's incredible. Yeah. I don't understand how he does it. Like, I honestly don't. Like, his lyrics are just like mad. Yeah. I was just like, look, there's so many people coming now. I'm nervous.
Last question. Of course. What does love mean to you?
What does love mean to me? Yeah. Love means happiness, something that is different from anything else. So like it can make you feel a certain way, and something that everyone should have and share with the world. Yeah, I love that. Quote that. That's it. No, I'm joking. This is awesome. Thank you so much. No problem. Thank you very much for walking with me today. We had a lovely walk in the sun. To be fair, I'm getting more of a tan, so I can't complain. It's like all on your hands, though. It's so really funny. Yeah, it's just all on my hands. I've got like watch marks and everything, and, like ring marks, but whatever, when in LA, like when in Rome. But no, yeah, thank you very much.
Hi, now I'm with Reece.
Hello.
So you're born in Northern England?
Yes, I was born in Lancashire, England.
Okay.
Which is like just outside of Manchester.
Mm-hmm. And are your parents originally born there as well?
Yes, a very small town called Accrington. I was born in Blackburn, but yeah, it's basically a little town in the hills of England.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
It's nice, yeah.
What do your parents do?
My parents, my dad works for the Ministry of Defence.
Okay.
And my mother is a nurse in a prison.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting jobs.
Where do you think you got your creative side from?
My dad was a drummer
Oh.
when he was younger. He was in a band. So I started playing drums when I was very young. I had my first drum kit when I was about 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I inherited his drum kit. My mum, not the best singer, she'll admit that. But my dad sings a little, so I think I've got it from him. But I've just been singing and dancing and like playing instruments ever since I can remember, so all my life.
And who do you think you're more similar to, like personality-wise?
I have traits from both of my parents, I think. I think I'm probably more like my mother, but my sister is very much like my dad. Quite feisty. But I think I'm a little bit more chilled like my mum, but then I have traits of my dad also. So it's a mix.
Yeah. How else would you describe yourself back then growing up?
I was a very quiet kid growing up. I guess I was quite an introvert. I didn't really have that many friends because I spent most of my dinner times like in the music room, like just practicing and playing a lot. So I had like probably like 3 really close friends that I'd pretty much spent all my time with.
Did you like school growing up?
I actually did. I enjoyed school. I don't know. I like a routine. I like to know what I'm doing every day.
Well, this job is so difficult.
Yeah, I know. That's what. Yeah, I like it when I have a schedule. I don't know. I obviously prefer what I'm doing now to school.
Did you do well in school? Like, what were your favorite subjects?
I did quite well in school. I'm quite proud of my grades. My best subjects were like maths and science and history.
Yeah.
Those subjects.
Those really make sense because it's like your parents' careers, pretty much.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
And then when it clicked to you to do music, what did your parents think of it?
They've always wanted me to do that. I think they know that was my dream, like growing up. So I think as soon as the opportunity like arose, my parents were just like grab it with both hands. And it's sad because they don't really get to see a lot of what I do now because I'm away so much. But they're very proud of me, and I always update them, and they come to all the shows when I'm in England and stuff, and travel sometimes. So yeah, they're very proud and very happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah. Growing up, were there other musicians or other people around you who are doing music as a career that you're like, oh, this is like a possibility?
Honestly, no. Like in my town, it's a very small town, and literally I don't know anyone else that's really, I don't know, left that town.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's
you dreamt so big then.
I think it's very rare to like even leave the town because a lot of people in that town grow up there and stay there and have a family there. And I've kind of like done the opposite. I've been traveling since I was like 14, so it's pretty crazy. But I've always wanted to travel. I've always wanted to see the world, and I didn't want to just spend my life in a small town in England, even though I do love it there. I think my parents also wanted me to see the world.
And then I guess like X Factor was like just like a momentum to even get yourself out there, right? Because it was difficult from that small town.
Yeah, I was playing a show in Manchester because I was just starting to like make a little bit of a name for myself around Manchester and around my area. Like I was playing in pubs and clubs and stuff, and just like little 20-minute gigs here and there when I could, like if I could get on a bill somewhere. And after this one show in a place called Night and Day Cafe in Manchester, which was one of my biggest shows, that a guy came up to me after the show and he was like, "Oh, I'm from Sidewalk," which is Simon Cole's label. He's like,
"Oh, cool.
We want you to audition for the show." And at that point, I'd never like even watched X Factor. I didn't know really if I wanted to do it. It was a kind of a, I'll test it out and see if I like it or not. And then it got to the point where I was that deep in it. I was like, oh god, I'm one of those guys now when I'm on X Factor. But looking back, it was a good experience. It brought me out of my shell a lot. I was, like I said, I was a very shy child, so I think it was good for me, and I came off the show with a lot of confidence and experience on stage.
Was it like kind of shocking, like within a few hours, kind of like it explodes, like whereas a lot of pop stars, like they put out some songs and it gets big, but then just being from TV, went from like just doing pubs for a few people and then all of a sudden you're national.
Yeah, I think it was a lot to deal with, like, because I was so young as well. I remember like sitting around the TV waiting for my audition to come on. I was like, all the family were around the TV, and like instantly, as soon as it like aired on TV, my phone started blowing up, and I haven't had my notifications on since that night because it got crazy. I have nothing but good things to say because it kick-started me. It helped me meet the boys. So you know, it might not have the best rep, but for me, it got me where I wanted to be. So.
Did you realize from the onset that you wanted to be in a band, or did you see yourself more as a soloist?
When I was first starting off, I only did solo stuff. I was doing pub gigs and stuff. But like, I don't know. As soon as you start traveling around, it's like I can't imagine being on my own so much, and I think it'd be very lonely if I was to travel around all that time on my own with just like your crew around you. I think it helps that there are two other boys in the same situation as I am, that are traveling the world at such a young age, and it's good that I'm doing it with people that are so similar to me.
Was it surprising to you how fast the New Hope Club took off?
Kind of. Well, I mean, we've got a lot to thank for the Vamps boys. They took us on tour instantly and showed us to their crowds, and I think pretty much it was quite like instant with the crowd that they just loved the band. I know it's like we have a similar fan base to the Vamps boys, so it was just we were introduced quite well, and all the fans seems to like us instantly, and it wasn't very hard, like the initial, it was like after a year we started working really hard on our songwriting and stuff, and that's when we really put the hard work in, and like even like now we're still just grinding. It's actually, it seems like it's happened really fast, but for us, we've been working non-stop for like 4 years.
4 years,
and just like non-stop writing, non-stop working, and it's nice to finally see some reward and like finally do our own shows, and like you said, in Asia and stuff.
And then how did the signing with Hollywood Records come about?
It was right at the start, really. We made the band and we auditioned for a few record labels, and then a very smart man, smarter than us, he suggested that we partner with our Virgin EMI, we partner a deal with Hollywood Records, and instantly we was like, yes, of course, like Disney is so cool, like we want to be a part of that world, and it's just such an amazing opportunity. Like we get to go to Radio Disney, and just such a cool work environment to be around, and we've got like such a cool team behind us here, and we're very lucky. We love it here. So.
And how do you describe the other two boys' personalities, and how do you guys differ?
I'd say George is the most organised. He's the best.
You said that too.
He's the best at keeping us on time. He really keeps us in check. Blake, I'd say he's quite cheeky. He wouldn't like me saying any of this, but I don't know. He's a little bit of a flirt, I guess. He's just quite a cheeky guy, and like he's quite flamboyant on stage, and he's a bit crazy. And then I don't know. It's hard to describe yourself. I don't know. You have to let Blake and George answer that.
And then, when did you start working with like more producers, and how was that like, going from you three doing music over Skype and then working with like producers, songwriters?
Yeah, I think the first real experience of writing with another person, we wrote some songs with Brad from the Vamps.
Oh, nice.
And he's a very talented writer and also a talented producer now, so we still write with him today. We've got a song actually that might be coming out soon with him. But he's really talented, and that was kind of a good way to ease us into writing with new people, because it's a weird experience going into a room with people that you've never known and then writing about like your experiences, and it's hard to get so deep with someone you met 10 minutes ago, but I think we're very used to it now. We've been doing it since we were quite young, and you get to the point where there's no boundaries really, and because at first you're nervous to say your ideas and get rejected, but that's just part of it, you know. You've got to have bad ideas. For every good idea you have like 10 bad ideas, so you've just got to put stuff out there, and if something sticks then that works.
Can you talk about what you guys do with like being in Ubers and putting on the song and then drivers reacting to your singing?
Well, I think we always, like, because obviously we travel with guitars, so as soon as we get in an Uber, they're like, hey, so you guys a band? And we're like, yeah, we're in a band. We sometimes dodge the question, and we were just like, oh no, we're just backing musicians, like we just play, like we're not the artists, like don't worry about it, just so we can have a quiet journey.
Yeah, backing artists as a teenager.
Yeah, sometimes they ask us to play our music. It's usually a good reaction, you know. We've never had a bad one so far, but we've started more and more to just be like, no, we're just backing musicians. It's nothing.
What do you say have been the inspirations for music videos?
It's always different, obviously, with the song, which usually has something to do with whatever the song means. Usually when we're actually writing a song, we're like, this would be such a cool music video, and if it's got a cool like concept and stuff. Music videos are fun. The actual filming of a music video is so long though. Like, you literally, most of the days you're waiting around for them to set up, and it's actually a very tiring day. By the end of it, you're like exhausted. We're doing one very soon actually. We're going to do one this Friday in LA, because whilst you're here you might as well do a music video, right?
Was there one of the videos that was your idea?
Maybe for like a new one, a new song that's not out yet, I think. Yeah, I mean, Love Again was like a whole collaborative idea. And yeah, that's probably my favourite one.
Are there any movies that you're inspired by?
I think, well, Love Again I know was inspired by End of the Thing World on Netflix. That I think that inspired it a lot, just because it's got such a cool like aesthetic, and we loved the whole idea of like the travelling around and no commitments, and we thought that was pretty cool.
How would you say your music has changed compared to the early songs that you guys made?
We've just progressed as writers. We've got better writers. Our songs have more quality, and
how about the themes?
I think the more mature. I think the early days, like our first ever song that we wrote was about a girl's perfume over after she stayed over your house, and all you can smell is her perfume. Like,
At 15.
Yeah. Doing homework, obviously, but nah. I think just what we write about, our experiences obviously changed. We've had a lot more experiences, and we're writing about things now that I think, I don't know, we've grown up with our fans, so I think a lot of our fans relate to our songs pretty well.
Yeah. Was it weird writing about love when you were so young back then?
No, because you think, many times you think you are in love.
True.
I think, like, as a kid, like, I was in love every 10 minutes. So it was pretty easy, actually.
Last question, what do you guys want to be remembered for?
Oof. I guess I want to be remembered for my music, obviously, and my passion and what I love to do, and traveling the world, and hopefully we can leave a mark, and with the people that follow us now, the club, like our fan base, hopefully, you know, we'll grow up together, and we can change lives. We've already made like friendships from across the world. People have met each other through us and our music. People have got tattoos like dedicated to us. So hopefully, like, we're a part of a lot of people's lives, and I think that's really important. Hopefully we'll leave a positive mark on the world in whatever we do.
Actually, what is the inspiration behind your tattoos?
Oh, this is a lily for my mother. It's her favourite flower.
Oh, it's so pretty.
This is my mother's and my sister's initials, and this is my grandmother's name.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much. I love this.
No worries. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Bye.
Hi, now I'm with Blake.
Hello, everyone.
So you're originally born in Northern England?
I am, yeah. A little bit south of Manchester, so like 40 minutes away.
Well, what is the specific?
It's called Macclesfield.
Oh.
Mighty Macclesfield, so everyone watching, it's a brilliant place.
And are your parents originally from there as well?
No, actually, they're from, well, my mum's from round there, and my dad then grew up there a bit later on. But yeah, like round there. Yeah.
And what do they do?
My mum is a primary school teacher.
Oh.
And my dad makes labels for like shampoo bottles and stuff like that. So yeah.
Where do you think you got your creative side from?
I think mainly my mum. My mum's like and my grandma and stuff. They're very into like dance and singing and stuff like that, and acting and all that kind of stuff. So I think there was like we've always had like music on when we were younger, like listening to all kinds of stuff. So.
Well, so for your family, did you have people who were doing creative things as a profession, or is this more of a hobby?
Mum was once in a film with Al Pacino, little fact.
What? Wait, what's the film?
I can't remember the name of it, but she was only a very small part. But other than that, just more like it was more like a hobby sort of thing. They all just enjoyed it. And well, my mum's family are Greek, and so Greek Cypriot, so they do a lot of Greek dancing and stuff at like parties and like weddings and stuff. And so they're all into it. So.
Do you still have family in Greece that you visit then?
We have got family in Greece and Cyprus, yeah, but not that I've really been over in a very long time.
Yeah. How do you describe your parents' personalities?
I would describe my mum as she's just the most caring person literally in the world, like honestly, like cares so much about me and my sister. My dad is he's quite daring, I'd say. He likes to be a bit like naughty, probably. So,
are you more like him?
No, I have both qualities, I think.
So all three of you guys have sisters?
No, George doesn't.
Oh, okay.
No, George is a single child. But I've got an older sister and Reece's got a young sister.
Oh, what does your older sister do?
She's currently at drama school. She's called Abby. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Doing creative stuff.
Exactly, yeah. We like being creative, I just think. I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you describe your personality back then growing up?
I was probably like, I'm just cheeky. I was that cheeky kid.
That's what they said too about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe like a little bit too talkative in some situations. I just think, well, at school, like, some teachers loved me and some hated me. Just because I felt like I could have a conversation with them, and some just didn't want to have a conversation with me, but some did. So those ones I liked.
Yeah. Did you do well in school, or?
Yeah, I did pretty well. But like in the last year of school, I was really starting to get, the band was starting to move forward, so I was on tour while I was in school. But it was fun though.
What were your favourite subjects back then?
Honestly, probably art was my favourite
Oh, wow.
subject, because I enjoyed just being able to go to the art room and just do that. And you got to listen to music when you're in art. We were allowed to have our phones to listen to music, so that was always like a nice, relaxing subject. And I've always liked art, but I've never really have time to do it anymore. But I didn't actually like music in school. Like obviously I loved music and playing, but I didn't actually enjoy the subject. I just found it was like not the music I liked, and they were trying to make us like describe music that didn't, like they were trying to say like, why did this person do this and why did they do that, and it's like, maybe just because it sounded good and do you know what I mean, and he just thought, that's nice, let's put that there.
Mm-hmm. Was that the same time that you were picking up instruments?
I learned guitar from like age 6, so I was like young when I started playing guitar, but then I didn't really like, I enjoyed it, but I was like, it was hard, I had such small hands, and I used to remember going like, I can't play certain songs because my hands are too small. But now, then like when I was like 11, like 10, 11, I really started to like sing and play at the same time, and then from like then to I started writing at like 12.
What were those early songs about?
Honestly, mixture of things. Like I went through quite a hard time when I was like 12, so they were about like personal stuff.
Like what kind of things were you going through? Oh my gosh.
Oh, we're attacked by a bush. Just, you know, family stuff. And so but it was like something, if there's like a silver lining in anything, that was the silver lining, was that I started to write music and stuff like that.
So it helped you through that period of
sure.
what you were going through?
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for people who are also going through family difficulties?
Honestly, just, I speak to your parents is like obviously the best bit, but like there was a lot of times where I didn't like feel like I could talk to like my friends or anything because it's such like a personal issue.
Yeah.
And I'd honestly, like, your close friends will listen to you so much, like that's what you have a friend for. So just, and if not, just speak to, like your teachers at school as well, like if there's one you're close with, like just because, like for instance, I had like, you know, you have like form, like your own form. Like if your form tutor's not like the nicest, like, or you don't get on with them or anything, but if there's a teacher in your school which you relate to, or like if it's your favourite subject, like they will also listen to you. You don't have to just listen, like speak to the form tutor.
I love that, yeah. When did it click to you that you wanted to do music as your career?
I think I watched a band called McFly.
Yeah.
And I watched them live with my mum when I was like 10. And I just like, maybe I was a little bit older, maybe I was like 12. And I just saw them, like they were just such an amazing band, like live, and it wasn't what I expected. It was just like the chemistry on stage, and like it wasn't necessarily the music they were playing that I loved, which I did at the time, but it was just more like the chemistry of being able to be in a band and write songs together, or you know, and perform like with it, like your best mates, and that was like my dream, to be able to do that.
They found you through your performances, or how was it?
Just for YouTube.
Oh,
just
okay.
posting covers.
Yeah. Were they the first ones that hit you up from your YouTube, or were the other people like scouting you?
I had got a few times like people like see the covers or whatever and talk to me and stuff like that. But like there was a guy from, I'm not gonna say which band, but there was a guy from a certain band who was like the front man of the band, like was messaging me, like promising me stuff.
Yeah.
But then our managers messaged me, and then ever since then it was just from that. Yeah.
And can you talk about that fan who flew from Mexico? Was it to here or something, to watch you guys perform, and her brother had to translate?
Oh yeah,
I think you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that stuff like that's insane. Like when anyone travels far for us, or even if they come from like 2 minutes away, like honestly, it means the world to us. Like, it's just so surreal for us, like being able to play shows and having people come down and appreciate our music. And I just hope, you know, that we can keep coming back and people watch the shows, tell more people about the show, and hopefully, you know, we can keep coming back and doing bigger and bigger shows. That's the dream.
Yeah. And what do you love about Bruno Mars? He's like one of your favorites, right?
Yeah, Bruno's class. I've been to watch him like 4 times.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What do you love about him?
I like how I wouldn't really want to do the music that Bruno Mars does necessarily, but I just find that he's such a good performer and writer and musician all round. Like that's for me like the best thing, to be able to write the songs, you know, like produce it, play all the instruments, and then perform it as well as he does. That's like what it's all about, I think. Like he's got like the full package.
How do you say you've grown as a person compared to when you were younger?
I mean, grown in height a bit.
Yeah.
Got a bit taller. I think obviously you go through so much, and luckily for us boys, like we've had the opportunity to be able to go around the world and see different cultures as well, and I think we've also grown in that aspect as well. But just I think the main thing we've grown in, like, performers as well, and just I think in every way we've just had a lot of experience in what we're doing so far, and I just think we've just grown as you'd kind of expect, I think. Yeah.
Last question, what does love mean to you?
Love.
Yeah.
Love's everything. Like, love is like literally everything in life, I think. Because, I mean, because even your job is about love, really, because, like, you want to do something you love.
Yeah.
You want to do your job, but then also, like obviously finding, like, a partner for life, that's love. And I don't know, I think it's literally the word of life is love, because obviously you want everyone to have love, and if everyone feels love, then everyone's happy and everyone's nice to each other.
Sweet, that's perfect.